Hey sisters, welcome back to my channel. My name is Neiima. Thank you so much for tuning into yet another video of mine. Here on this channel, I bring you everything luxury from makeup to fragrance to lifestyle. If any of those things pique your interest, please consider subscribing down below. Today, I'm going to be cutting straight to the chase and telling you guys the products you need to avoid during this upcoming Sephora spring sale. These products have huge red flags and we're going to get into that. Firstly, I want to share some things that aren't necessarily products but general housekeeping. If you can, please avoid picking up minis. I've talked about before how you're paying more per ounce for the minis than you are for the full size. Oftentimes you are paying half the price of the full size, but you're not getting half the amount of products. You're getting a fraction. So if you can, invest in full size products. Also, do not get caught up buying small little trinkets at a huge store like Sephora. Don't go to Sephora for lash glue unless you're a bougie babe and you just have to have Tarte or something like that. Ulta has Kiss lash glue every day of the week for $4. Don't waste your money. This is like a 1 to 2 time a year sale. So get the things that rarely go on sale, like fragrance. First one is going to be from Kayali, and it is their Eat Juicy Apple 01 fragrance. Obviously this packaging is stunning. I love to keep this on my dresser just as a decorative piece. It is just so beautiful. We all know the most important aspect is what is on the inside. This is a more expensive version of Beautiful Day from Bath & Body Works, and I don't hear people comparing those two. And to me, immediately when I smell this, that is what it reminds me of. Overall, I think this fragrance is lacking that complexity that we love in higher end fragrances. The whole purpose of buying a luxe fragrance is to get that super layered fragrance. It's kind of like the brand did the layering combo for you. You guys know how we like to mix and match fragrances on our own, but when we buy a luxe perfume, the company has done that for you. This fragrance just did not do that for me. It does not remind me of anything apple-y, if that makes sense. It reminds me of more of like a berry mixed with something kind of sweet, maybe like a floral. Even in the campaign photos, there are berries that are used, and I just found that weird because it's juicy apple, but I would have expected something more of like a bitter, maybe green apple note. It could have a little bit of floral in there, but I just was expecting more apple, and I was also expecting it to be more complex. This next one is from Nest, and it is their Balinese coconut fragrance oil. Balinese coconut, it is Billie Eilish #2 in a perfume oil. They may have removed or added one thing to make it just slightly different from the Billie Eilish one, but this is Billie Eilish #2. I don't get the purpose, and I'm not saying they were intentionally trying to dupe that one, but I just don't get the purpose of making a product that's similar to another product, but the one you're making is more expensive. The Billie Eilish one is like, I want to say $70 or $80. I think there's multiple sizes, so it depends on, you know, which size you get, how much it'll be. But this one is $98, and it's more expensive than any size that Billie Eilish's second fragrance comes in, so I don't get it. On top of that, the staying power on this is atrocious. This starts to fade, I would say, around the 2-hour mark. I mean, it is the strangest thing. This is so unlike anything else that Nest has come out with, and I own 2 of their other perfume oils. This is not the typical Nest quality. If you like those spicy fragrances that are not gourmand or sweet, they're just kind of like a spicy, kind of unisex in a way fragrances, just go ahead and get the Billie Eilish #2. Let's move into this moisturizer from Charlotte Tilbury. I don't know if it's just me, but the Magic Cream smells like a TCB No Lie relaxer. This has an unpleasant smell to it that I don't enjoy. I feel like this is overpriced. I think this size is like $100. I did get this on sale, I think from Nordstrom's, but I didn't pay full price for it, and I'm glad that I did not. because this is so overpriced. I enjoy my moisturizer that I raved about in my favorites video way more than this, and I think that one is like a fourth of the price. The moisture on it is okay, it's mid. I would not waste $100 on this product because it would truly be a waste. If you want something like expensive, go for the Tatcha, or go for some of the moisturizers that Dermalogica has, or Skin Fix. And I have had this going on 2 years, and I don't know if you, oh, that light is so bright, but I don't know if you guys can see, I'm not even at the halfway mark with this because I cannot with the smell. I can, it does fade, but it takes a little bit too long for my liking to fade, so I don't even bother with this majority of the time. So speaking of Dermalogica, this is their daily microfoliant. Now there will be a running theme that you guys will see in this video. I cannot keep track of the tops for my products. This is their daily microfoliant, and I do have the 2.6 ounce. They have a few different sizes. You can also get this in a mini if you just want to try it out. I find that this is a product that works well if you don't have problematic skin. I shared with you guys before how I was dealing with adult acne, and if you have any kind of raised breakouts, meaning pimples, blackheads, you know, those kind of raised bumps, this is so painful and abrasive on the skin, and when you wash it off, you will feel a few like cuts. It's like those micro cuts, and when you have it on, it doesn't feel super uncomfortable, but it is a little rough. So this comes out like a powder, and then you mix it with water and turn it into a paste. And I was confused by it because it's like a dust. So you would think that it would be a little bit finer, especially since you're mixing it with water, but it's too rough for my liking. And when you have those raised breakouts and you get those micro cuts, it just makes it even more painful. So it's kind of like, you know, what's the point? And it's also very expensive. This full size was 68 bucks. This is one of their products that I feel like is overpriced. This is another product from Dermalogica, and this is a moisturizer. This is their Biolumin-C gel moisturizer. It's essentially supposed to be like a vitamin C serum and a moisturizer in one. I, first of all, do not like the texture of moisturizers like this. I should have tested the tester before I brought it. This is not moisturizing in the slightest. It dries down and it leaves this slightly sticky, kind of weird film on the skin that I absolutely hate. And then over time, the moisture just dries up. Skin feels like you didn't put anything on top of it. It's not moisturizing at all. And I also did not notice any brightening with it. This bottle is pretty much empty. I felt like, okay, maybe I can just use it as a vitamin C serum. And then I went in with more moisturizer on top. So even using it like just for the vitamin C properties, I did not notice anything that wowed me. Another moisturizer that is not worth the hefty price tag. This is the Ta Diminesions II eyeshadow palette, and this one kind of broke my heart because the formula on this is beautiful, but as you can see, I did have to remove one of these shadows here, and that is because it started to grow black mold. There was a woman on Instagram who actually got this conversation started. She shared photographs of her Ta palette. So I ran to my collection to go look, and my palette was growing black mold. So I went ahead and removed that shade to try to save the rest of the palette, but unfortunately it's not savable because this shade here is now growing black mold as well. And this palette is $70. My palette is essentially no good, and it is months before the expiration. You're just kind of stuck with a shit palette. And what really pissed me off about this situation is the fact that Ta has not addressed this. The brand has not come out with a statement. They haven't addressed it. I don't know what's happening, but it's unfortunate, you know, because these palettes are expensive. And when you first work with them, you get that luxury experience. But for this to pretty much, you know, tap out, before the expiration. Unfortunately, they were dragging my girl on TikTok. This is the Watermelon Glow Niacinamide Dewdrops. Now, I will admit, if you are looking to add a serum into your skincare routine that is going to give you skincare benefits like anti-wrinkle or anti-aging, discoloration correction, something of that sort, yeah, this product is overhyped. I like it because it's pink and it smells like watermelon. If you don't have any extra money to spend on pink girly things, this is a waste and you probably shouldn't get it. But if you're like me, you get sucked into all things girly and pink, it's not a waste, and those people are haters. So it's kind of up to you. This one was more for y'all than for me because she will always be in the rotation. Okay, so I featured this one not too long ago. This is from Givenchy. It is their Prism Libre powder and it is the shade 3. I have the mini size. This is so dry. I cannot remember my initial thoughts about this. You guys can't even see it. No, I can't remember my initial thoughts about this. I do think I said that it was dry though. It's so dry. My goodness, this is dry. I think I talked about how people were saying this is like a dupe for Cherry Blossom. This is not a dupe. Those two do not even live on the same block. And if you have any sort of skin conditions that dry out your skin, eczema, psoriasis, don't do it. If you want a pink powder, check out Moira Beauty or from Huda Beauty. Just no, it's so dry. And also I don't feel like it's really all that blurring. I think initially when you apply it, it looks great. It does give you some blur, but that quickly fades. And for it to be so expensive, you guys, and they went up on the mini size. The mini was $29 when I brought it. It's now $31. Yeah, no. So this one is going to be really quick. This is from Kosas and it is their Nano Brow Pop Pencil and I have the shade dark brown. This is atrocious. I hate this. This has literally zero pigment. This is the only brow pencil that I've ever used where I'm like trying to fill in my brows and I'm like, okay, where's the pigment? Like, what's happening? Like, do y'all see how light that is? And this is supposed to be a dark brown. The pencil that I have in my brows now is also a dark brown. And can you guys see the color difference? Like, this is not a dark brown and it's also super ashy. It almost kind of has like a gray undertone to it. If you have dark hair, this is impossible to use. Like, what in the world? Like, this is for light-haired people. This cannot be for people with dark hair. No way. This is from the Inkey list and this is their Plumping Lip Balm. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that first word. This was so disappointing for so many reasons. So first of all, it separates. It turns into two different entities. Like, you have this oily film and as soon as you open it, it just starts to spill out everywhere. I don't know if you guys can see. As you can see, it's kind of like sliding down and it separates. It's this weird consistency. I hate the fact that it's this weird mucus yellow color. I hate that. It also does not plump your lips. If you get a little bit in your mouth, it has this disgusting taste. It kind of feels like watered down Vaseline. It is from Amara and it is their skin stick. This is the newest foundation stick they came out with and I announced I'd be reviewing it. So as you can see, I did use it. I did actually try to film a review, but I had lighting issues with that old Ragley ring light, so I couldn't use the footage, but it was atrocious. Oh my goodness. I have never used a foundation stick that dries as fast as this one does, but this one dries down to cement where you cannot blend it. The color on me was beautiful. Let me see if I can replicate what it did in that video. So I'm gonna let it dry down for a second. But the color is so pretty. I love it. You cannot blend this. Once it is dry, it is dry. So I even tried to go in with more products. I tried to rehydrate my face with a setting mist and nothing made it look seamless and flawless. There was a lot of accentuated texture and everything, so I was disappointed with this one. I'm having to put a lot of pressure to smear it, and then there it goes. There it goes. You can feel the texture change when you use your fingers. I use the brush, but now that I'm rubbing it in with my fingers, I can feel the texture changing. Like, it goes from being really creamy to literal cement. Like, oh my goodness, that is so dry. And if you look at this side, look how it has that like luminosity, really pretty. And then look at this, it's like streaky. Look, it's dry. You can't move it. Like, so hurts. Like, no, you cannot move it. Like, that's all foundation. You can't move it. And I'm like pressing. It doesn't move. It doesn't move. It stays in that one spot. And I'm gonna try not to edit that clip too much. It happens so quickly. It is the weirdest thing. The last product is a hand cream. I don't even know how to pronounce this brand. Lolactane. Child, who knows? This is their lavender hand cream. What is this? Do y'all remember that watery hand lotion that was in every Black household at one point? One of your relatives had that lotion. This is a glorified version of that. It just smells different. I think that one was like cocoa butter scented. This just smells like lavender. It's the same thing as that, I promise. You have to go in with like 2 or 3 coats of this just to get rid of the lemon pepper crack, the ash between your fingers. Like, why am I having to use this much product? And then once you get it on your hands, it dries down and feels weird, but your hands still feel dry. Like, even after the 3 coats, you can get rid of the lemon pepper crack. You can, but it doesn't feel moisturized. What is this? A waste. Alrighty, sisters, that wraps up this video. I hope you all enjoyed it and find it helpful. If you have any questions for me, leave it down below in the comments and I'll make sure to get back to you. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye, sisters.